Thank you very much, Donald. It is both an honor and a privilege for me to recognize each of today's inductees into Western Kentucky University's Hall of Distinguished Alumni. This honor conveys our highest respect for each of these individuals who have carried the Western spirit with them throughout their very successful lives, and who truly represent the unique character of our institution. These individuals are a source of great pride for those of us who have been part of the Western family, and a source of inspiration to current and future students. This year's class is unusual in that each inductee not only achieved great distinction, but they did so at their alma mater. They include the coach of the 1971 NCAA Final Four team, the longtime head of the English department, and the father of Western's pre-med program. And to shed some light on the friendship that at least two of these individuals enjoyed, and I know, Coach, you were close to both of them as well. I want to read to you a couple sentences from a letter that was just handed to me before the program started, that was written in 1966, January 2, 1966, from Gordon Wilson to L.Y. Lancaster. And I'm going to read you the first and the last sentence, and I think you'll be able to piece together the middle part of the letter pretty quickly. Dear Lancaster, a little later this month will come the 50th anniversary of our first meeting back in January 1916. Enough has happened in that half century to fill volumes of history and science and poetry in every phase of writing. The world wars and a whole litter of small ones, a few rattling cars to jet planes, a population explosion that has caused the world to shiver. Early manhood, you a mere 22, I only 27, through middle age to what the world now calls old age. As we have so often said, we have maintained through all the years our individuality, though all the time conscious of the value of the other partner in this friendship. And that makes my own conception of our half-century of acquaintance one of the great experiences of a very busy and many-sided life. I can think of nothing finer that has come to me. Sincerely, Gordon. That puts in context a little bit the human value of recognitions like we bestowed today to individuals that we all wish could be here to enjoy their induction into the Hall of Distinguished Alumni. These three individuals that we honor today will join 49 distinguished Western alumni inducted into the Hall since it was established in 1992. Kevin, if you will come forward again and assist in the presentation of each inductee, and if you will now find a clear view of the screens and the podium as we begin the induction of the 2002 Hall of Distinguished Alumni class. And I'll start with L.Y. Lancaster. Dr. Lenny Young Lancaster is the father of Western's pre-med program. He organized the pre-med curriculum, directed the program's activities for nearly 30 years, and was chairman of the pre-medical advisory committee. He also founded the biology club at Western and Beta Beta Beta, the National Honor Biology Fraternity. In his book, Western Kentucky University, Dr. Lowell Harrison wrote of him, Lancaster, quote, made an enviable record in placing Western students in medical schools. A former student testified that during his days at Western, it was widely known that a B average in Dr. Lancaster's classes would get a pre-medical student into any medical school throughout the land. In 1975, both the Kentucky chapter of the American Academy of Family Physicians and the Kentucky Medical Association honored Dr. Lancaster as a special awards recipient. The health science portion of the academic complex on the Western campus was named the L.Y. Lancaster Clinic in 1969. In 1980, the L.Y. Lancaster Memorial Lectureship Society was established and presents an annual lecture. In 1988, the Society matched funds donated by the Ogden Foundation to establish the L.Y. Lancaster Professorship. Jerry W. Martin, one of Dr. Lancaster's former students, wrote of him, he taught, advised, counseled, and inspired more students that are now directly related to the medical and dental professions than any other person, not only at Western, but in Kentucky, and would certainly have to be counted among the top such men in the nation. Dr. Lancaster died May 15, 1980. It seems very fitting that Dr. Lancaster is being inducted into the same year as his close friend, Dr. Gordon Wilson, Sr. Many of our guests are with us today because of the friendship they shared with both Dr. Lancaster and Dr. Wilson.
Dr. Lenny Young Lancaster was known as the father of Western's pre-med program, a teacher that demanded honesty and diligence from his students. Dr. Lancaster set future doctors on their way with a foundation based on a knowledge and understanding of the basics required to become a physician.
So he knew exactly the material that the students needed when they went to medical school to be prepared for the load that you have to encounter. And so I think that's one reason that Dr. Lank became so well known, because he gave the students what he knew they needed. And he saw to it that we got that, or we didn't get out of his class. So when he recommended a student to medical school, we just knew essentially that we were going to get in. So we worked very diligently to be sure that we got his recommendation, because he had such a rapport with medical schools, University of Louisville, Vanderbilt, Tulane, and others, Emory, that if he picked up the phone or wrote a letter of recommendation, those students were pretty much assured of being accepted.
Dr. Lancaster began his career at Western as a student by receiving a life certificate from Western State Normal School in 1921. He received his master's and doctorate degrees from Ohio State University and knew firsthand what students needed from a pre-med program.
He took the preclinical curriculum at Ohio State that the medical students took. So he knew exactly the material that the students needed when they went to medical school to be prepared for the load that you have to encounter. And so I think that's one reason that Dr. Lank became so well known, because he gave the students what he knew they needed. So I think he challenged students, I think even beyond what we thought we were capable of doing. Then I think that he took pride over the years, since he had no children, that we almost became his children. And he took great pride in every student that he had taught that went on to succeed.
Dr. Lancaster's service to the university extended into the chairmanship of the Pre-Medical Advisory Committee and the founding of the Biology Club at Western. His many honors included the naming of the health science portion of the academic complex as the L.Y. Lancaster Clinic in 1969, when the building was opened. The L.Y. Lancaster Memorial Scholarship Lectureship was established in 1980 to honor the wisdom and dedication that Dr. Lancaster was known for throughout his career.
Those who have followed Dr. Lank, Dr. Hugh Puckett, Blaine Farrell, and others have been challenged, I think, because of the tradition to maintain those high standards. And they might have done it without Dr. Lank, I don't know, but certainly that tradition has perpetuated a legacy of high quality instruction. And so I think the students today are benefiting from that pioneer work that Dr. Lank did.
2002 Hall of Distinguished Alumni honoree, Dr. L.Y. Lancaster.
Distinguished alumni, President Ransdell, fellow alumni board members, board regents, family and friends, ladies and gentlemen. Greatness is defined as unusual, notable, remarkable, exceptionally outstanding. Truly, Dr. Lenny Young Lancaster was all of those. Shakespeare wrote, "Be not afraid of greatness. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them." He was not born great, and greatness was not thrust upon him, but certainly he achieved greatness, at least in the establishment and direction for 30 years of the pre-med curriculum here at Western. Albert Einstein said, "Try not to become a man of success, but rather to become a man of value." Dr. Lank demanded those values both of himself and his students. Through his untiring efforts in organizing and establishing the pre-med curriculum, he served diligently, attempting to impart to each student the conviction that they could reach goals believed to be unobtainable. Through his very demanding academic standards and his unrelenting prodding of the student, he taught them that through diligence, self-discipline, perseverance, and dedication, they could achieve more than they ever thought possible. An anonymous writer wrote, "He that is a master must serve," and serve he did. No one abhorred mediocrity or dishonesty more than he. The excellence that he demanded and promulgated stands today as prima facie evidence of the diligent work, determined effort, and academic honesty that he demanded of both himself and his students. Emerson said, "The reward of a thing well done is to have done it." Dr. Lank did it, and for him that was reward enough. Jesse Stewart wrote, "I am firm in my belief that a teacher lives on through his students." Dr. Lank's teaching reflected a sense of caring and genuine concern that each student developed to their maximum potential. He derived a sense of pleasure and pride, not from the accolades that he received, but rather from observing the evolving academic maturity of the student. The culmination of his efforts resulted in Western having one of the premier pre-med programs in the country. Seneca, the Roman philosopher, noted, "The comfort of having a friend may be taken away, but not that of having had one." Our friend was taken from us in 1980, but the reality of his instruction and friendship can never be erased from the lives of those who knew and respected him. He was often a difficult taskmaster, yet we had the full realization that he always remained a strong advocate and always extended a helping hand. Sometime during the spring of 1980, I talked to Dr. Downing concerning the establishment of an L.Y. Lancaster lecture series. Soon, 2 or 3 others voiced similar interest, and after a few meetings, we established that series. On May the 1st, 1980, I stopped at Dr. Lank's house to pick him up for a day of hiking at his beloved Sally's Rock. When I arrived, I quickly realized that he was in no shape to do so. He was very weak and feeble, and just in 1 week's interval from our previous outing a week earlier, he had become very weak and pale. I had to force him to go to the hospital, very much against his wishes, and we quickly determined he had pneumonia. But worse than that, it was soon discovered that he had acute myelomonocytic leukemia. After consulting with the hematologist and oncologist at Vanderbilt, I had to inform him of his untreatable leukemia and his terminal status. While he was still alert and coherent, I also informed him of our plan to initiate the L.Y. Lancaster lecture series. He was surprised, somewhat taken back, I think even a little stunned, but extremely humbled and very pleased. After a reflective pause, he indicated that if we were that interested in him, then he would have his attorney rewrite his will and have a portion of his estate given to the lecture series. However, that eventuality did not occur. As has been stated, he expired on May the 15th, 1980 at Greenview Hospital at age 86. Instead, his estate went to the College Heights Foundation for student scholarships. I might interject here that this year we will have the 23rd annual L.Y. Lancaster Memorial Lecture on Friday, November the 15th. It's South Campus, room 112. It's free to the public, and we invite all of you to be there. This year, Dr. Hiram Polk, the chairman of the Department of Surgery at the University of Louisville School of Medicine, will be the distinguished lecturer, and his topic will be medical education in the 21st century. I believe Dr. Lank would have liked that. Dr. Lank's penchant for teaching, his demand for academic diligence, and his love and enthusiasm for learning must never be extinguished. He was viewed with respect by his former students, with personal admiration by his friends, and with professional esteem by his colleagues. He favorably influenced untold individuals who were fortunate enough to know him as teacher and friend. He was my teacher, mentor, patient, and friend. It's an inexpressible honor for me to have this opportunity to accept this posthumous award inducting Dr. L.Y. Lancaster into WKU Hall of Distinguished Alumni. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerry, very much.